Update. All right, well, people everywhere are freezing. At Fairbanks, Alaska, they're getting hot and bothered about one Al Gore, my next guest, commissioning this massive ice sculpture of the former vice president blowing hot air. He is trying to get the former vice president to come to Alaska to debate global warming. On the phone with me now is Craig Compa of thefrozengore.com. Craig, you're doing this in good humor, but your point is serious, which is what?
Well, our point is that we don't see all the effects of global warming that Mr. Gore is talking about, and we really want to invite him up here and explain it. You know, he's fairly noted for not debating this issue publicly, and we're trying to kind of shame him into coming up here, and at the same time bringing the issue to the front and center so people can educate themselves better on it before we do something really stupid.
Well, have you written the vice president, called him? What have you heard from him?
We did. Last year we did a Shivering Al Gore statue, and we invited him, and his people said that unfortunately he'd love to attend a debate up here, but his schedule, there was a conflict. I went back and looked at my emails, and I had never suggested a date or time, so I thought that was kind of funny. But we will work around his schedule. We've talked to Bjorn Lomborg's people in Copenhagen, who's a great author on the entire subject. Right. He said he'd be here anytime Mr. Gore would be here, and I just think it's time he kind of came out of the closet and sat down and debated this thing.
As I'm looking at this, buddy, how is this smoke coming out Al Gore's mouth? This ice sculpture. What are you doing here?
Well, it's sitting on a Ford F-350 pickup, and we've adapted the tailpipe to come up, and we bored a hole in the back of the statue, and we're running the exhaust out of the mouth as we play his Copenhagen speech. So we're trying to do it, use some humor, get the word out, get people involved and curious about the stuff, and we have it on our frozengore.com site. We also have a lot of literature and information. You know, there's some brilliant articles there. The Professor Akasofu from the International Arctic Research Center in Fairbanks, Alaska. Right. You know, he's been here since the 50s. He sees it a little bit different than Mr. Gore, and he's lived it, he's breathed it. So
I guess so. And you guys do know a thing or two about cold, don't you?
We do, yeah. You know, it was 64 below last winter. We had how many days in a row? 87 days in a row. It didn't get above 20 in Fairbanks, 20 degrees, and a buddy of mine and I decided it'd be great to invite him up and debate his theories.
Craig, are there polar bears in Alaska?
You know, the polar bears. That's what the antis all use.
Right.
As
they're drowning because the ice is melting.
You know, and since Prudhoe Bay, the Central Alaskan Arctic caribou herd has gone up 7-fold. You know, polar bears have gone up between 3- and 4-fold worldwide. You know, there's polar bears. I talked to friends of mine that work up north, and they're all over the place. They're around the dump. They're in and out of the coastal areas. You know, it's their fundraising mechanism, just like the Defenders of Wildlife use the wolf up here.
Craig, it's good stuff. Let us know if you get an RSVP back. But great having you. That's a very cool sculpture. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Neil.